Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Divide Cafe. So today we have a very special guest with us. Her name is Danya Ravi. She's a very special person because I see her as a person who has conquered all the adversities that she faced, and she actually saw opportunities on all the adversities that she had in her life. She is a recipient of state and national awards. She is a two times TEDx speaker. She is a Josh Talk speaker. She has addressed about 4,000 people globally. Her life experiences instills strong confidence, and she has empowered many differently enabled people to improve their lives and careers despite the challenges through her life experiences. So she has been homeschooled, and after that she has worked as a disability evangelist. I don't think we can call it as worked as a worked. She it was her passion, and she worked very closely with people, and she has motivated them. If I have to look at some of the recognitions that she has received, she is the recipient of Kerala State Award for Empowerment of Persons with Disabilities. That was in 2019. She was the winner of Spooty Special Award by Karnataka Government for Women Achiever Award in 2019. She was recipient of National Award 2018 in the Role Model category by the Department of Empowerment of Persons with Disabilities. She's is a facilitator for an inclusive dance called the Invincibles. She also received the Brave Bangle Award 2012 for the Extraordinary Women by Film Group. So if I had to sum it up, and what she says is her disability has taught her to unlock her potential. And this action of being able to contact those who could help with those in need helped her recognize a higher sense of purpose in her life. So today we have Danya Ravi with us, and Neha will host us. Request to all our participants, please to put across your questions in the chat box. We will ask all your questions. Over to you, Neha.
Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. Welcome, Danya. Thank you so much for being here with us today. A warm welcome to you. Let's dive into the questions. You won a national award in 2018 as in the role model category. How would you describe that experience, and how do you feel being a mentor to several thousand people in the world?
Firstly, let me take this opportunity to thank the team for having me here for this interaction. Thank you, Neha and Manish, for getting stories from different persons around the globe. I thank the entire team again for having me here for this. And coming back, answering to your question, uh, actually, now I think Vinish has read a list of my achievements in terms of the kind of awards and recipients, of many things of that way. And I have no idea how I got through all that. Trust me, I have not done something that big, but I'm happy for all these recognitions because it has helped me to reach to a wider audience, so in that way it has helped me a lot. Role model category, the moment I got selected, more than receiving a national award, it was a big stone in my heart that, oh, I cannot do anything nasty anymore because I tend to be a role model. I have to be more responsible. So in a way, I lost my freedom to get into anything at that level, I would say. So yeah, like I said, honors are something that keeps us. For me, honor is about helping me to reach to a wider audience, as it carries a lot of value and many other aspects to it. But yeah, coming to the role model, like I said, it has always been a funny incident for me in personal, that I have to be more responsible on my actions and everything. It's a really great contribution that I need to work on with myself and to our community.
Yeah. That's a very different perspective of a national award. I don't think anybody's ever heard that before.
I was excited at all whether I got a national award or anything of that sort. It was never that way for me. As I said, what gave me a shock was the tag of being into the role model. I cannot do anything more funny or live a life of myself with freedom.
Lovely, Danya. I mean, another unique thing that we came across while reading your profile was that you were in charge of the first fashion show for disabled people. I mean, how did that come about, and what difference do you think that has made in society today?
Yeah, so for me, like I always feel that in our community, or maybe in our able and disabled in the community as such, there are many people who really do not get the kind of recognition they need, or maybe some of them really do not get the opportunity they deserve. And fashion is something that I, as a person with disability, has always felt that they have been thrown out from that industry. It can in two ways. One is the design. Most of the designers doesn't keep in their mind on how a dress has to be designed, or how a person with disability can join. I mean, a person with disability can wear. So when I kind of go to a store to pick a dress for myself, I have to go around more than 10 shops to get something comfortable there for me. So in that way, so these are some of the struggles I have come across. And second, I would like to add is that there are many persons with disability who, I believe that everyone is beautiful, and it is not with the kind of the appearance of what we see on the first way. It's not that the beauty I kind of see it. So for me, so these are some of the stigmas that I really wanted to break, and that's probably to make this happen. My friends also joined with me, so it is not something that I have done alone. The event was definitely one of the largest event that had happened in 2020, in a space where we were able to break stigmas on what beauty really means, and bringing more awareness about adaptive clothing. And around 35 of them who are from different medical conditions walked on the ramp, showing their abilities and not their disability. So the moment is definitely something that I really like to cherish in my life, and I thank my friends who stood with me for that, because it was not that easy. As definitely as you know, for a woman in our country, it is not that easy to go out and convince people or make things happen.
Correct.
As a person with disability, it has been an extra effort where, and in terms of traveling, in terms of meeting people, and even on the sponsorship, people tend to believe that sponsorship can be done only through it, only for education and food. There are different other things in life that human needs support, and so these are some of the things we humbly could touch upon. So
Yeah.
it was a great experience.
That's so amazing. Like people from 35 different rare diseases coming together and walking on the ramp is something really amazing. So, and you have been their voice, and you were recognized, and you made sure their voice was heard too, and that's something that's outstanding. So, as a disability evangelist, what is the transformation that you expect from society through spreading awareness?
So, like I've been telling that, so my whole reason of being vulnerable in terms of speaking out some of my experience, reaching out to a wider audience, is to get this kind of transformation. Is that one is definitely I hope to have a rare disease free India, where so for this mandatory genetic test should happen in our country. But even in terms of the governments are taking definitely having lots of things to do, and probably focusing on this part has been taking a lot of time. But more importantly, what I feel is more than the government get this plan applied, I think we each individual can take this as a responsibility. While as we grow up in terms of family planning, we focus more about how we can control over the about bringing another person into a society of having a rare disease. And apart from this, in the medical sector, I would say that uh, life is something to be lived, and it is not something to be escaped. And this is something that I feel, at least in our generation, most of people tend to lose this aspect, and they can most of them kind of escape from their life when they really don't come across the things that they kind of dream for. So probably if they dream to become a pilot, if they don't become a pilot, they think that the whole life is gone and there is nothing that they can do. And this is something that I kind of like to stress upon. Life is not just about being a pilot; it's something bigger than that. So this is something that if at least one person who sees my talk, or at least kind of embrace the kind of life that I go through, I'm sure that that one person will not escape from life, rather they live their life in a different way.
That's lovely, Danya. Okay, you've told us about all of this. What I want to know is that what were the changes you experienced at a personal level once you started working towards this?
In a personal level, I don't think there is a much of a changes. I am still the same person running, rolling on my wheels, and fighting with my things with my parents. I don't think there's much of a change that has happened around. But certainly bringing down these kind of honors and being recognized in a very humble way, I think the people around me who once thought that Danya would have a difficult life, they kind of believe that Danya, you have created a mark which we never thought. So this is something that they think, but from my kind of vision, I don't see anything. I'm still the same person.
Amazing, very nice. Okay, besides, you are a part of an NGO. You raise money for people with similar ailments, and like I said before, you have been a voice for others as well, and you also give motivational talks, and you work for social welfare causes. But besides that, you found your identity in content writing and digital marketing as well. What I want to know is, how did you find that strength, and how does one discover what is hidden within them?
I don't think I found strength in that even now. For me, writing is all about me making myself independent, where I can do my mobile recharge and other broadband payment and these aspects. So, yeah, in a very serious note, I would like to say that for me, it's still a magic. It's a miracle because I am a person who done homeschooling and I've done distance education, and computer is something that I feel it's kind of accessible for me. Internet has helped me to see the world. So in that aspect, I feel that writing is something I love to do, or maybe I started to love as things came my way. So I still don't know what exactly is happening. So for me, I'm a freelancer on my writing. I'm into digital marketing. I'm also into some customer support team. So all these aspects, it's more of me leading a life little independent, where I really believe that every person should be independent, and no matter whether it can be a puppet job to CEO, but it's important that one stays independent. So in that space where all these kind of writing things came up, and I'm still traveling on that journey. I don't know whether it is my strength, but writing is one of the best way to communicate our thoughts, definitely. So and that, so it's something really heartening for me, I would say. And I get too emotional with it because I still don't know whether I'm a good writer, but it has helped me to achieve my own independence in some or the other way.
That's lovely. I mean, I came across your poems while reading about you, and they were really beautiful. So I would,
Happy
yeah,
to do that.
yeah. Okay. So you're doing a lot of things right now. So, would you say you're living the life you want to? Are you happy with it?
I am, see, if I live a life just the way I wanted it, I don't think I would have tasted what life is. So
Okay.
I am definitely, I would say that I'm not living a desired life. Rather, I'm living a life that's very content and joyful. If you ask me, then do am I regret about something? I would say no, I'm not. So I'm definitely happy with what I am having right now. And like I said, when I look back on my days of struggle, as a person with disability, and my condition has been taking me at all into many things. So in that way, these are something that I never expected that I would be able to at least raise awareness and at least meet you. In fact, I would say that. So this itself was something that wouldn't have never happened if I would if I think in that way. But I'm definitely living a joyful life and desired. No, I don't think I need. Firstly, I'm not a person who have a dream kind of thing to say that I have a desired full life. But I'm definitely happy with the kind of blessings I have now.
Okay, that's lovely. What are the challenges you had to overcome to get here? Would you like to tell us more about it?
Challenges, so there are definitely a lot of challenges. Starts from my family. I come from a very traditional family, so I have to end up fighting with my family to let me go with all my thoughts and dreams. So the first kind of challenge happens from home, and then from the society, then from the friends. And challenge is something that is there in everything, right? Yeah, even to connect to a Google Meet, that is a challenge, I would say. So it's just about making it happen.
Thank you so much for making it happen. Okay, how much of life do you think it's what we perceive it to be? I mean, what do you have to say about mindset, about having a positive mindset in the face of adversity? Is that something you'd like to tell us about? And resilience also.
Yeah, see, I believe in creating a positive life in terms of. It's not that if you are sad, I'm asking you to be positive. It is never like that. If you are sad with something, it's definitely good to be sad and embrace it with that situation. But my way of positive thinking is about overcoming a situation. And like I stressed upon earlier, that life is not just escaping, rather living it, because I believe life is a very, very precious gift, and the challenges, painful days, all these are part of it. And it is something to be experienced, and not to, like, escape from it or curse on it. As you know, I have gone through n number of bone fractures, so I have a physical pain, And as I said, there are a lot of stigmas that I face, and that has created a lot of mental and emotional challenge and barriers. And I personally have gone through a lot of emotional trauma. So all these are definitely challenges in life. But keeping myself in a positive mindset has helped me to face it without fear.
Mm-hmm.
I think fear is something that has been trapping us from all situations or any circumstances. So it's important. I believe that it's only through the dark we see the light, and it is just this that so being in the dark and having that kind of hope, we'll see the light in some day. So it's about trusting your journey and traveling it in a positive mindset and actually bring in a lot of changes in it.
Right.
Like the great quote, I would say, like when you kind of really aspire for something, the whole universe works for you. So it is just this.
Very nice. You told us that life is about living it, and stigmas are meant to be broken, and you come away with hope and positivity. What I want to know is that you believe that everyone on earth has a purpose, and what would you say is yours?
See, yes, I believe that everyone has a purpose to live with. It's definitely yes, and it's not something that everyone can. It's about that. If one is a very popular singer, it doesn't mean that even others can be a very popular singer. They have a different purpose and journey meant to meet. So that's where I believe that everyone has a purpose in our life. So in my life, yes, I believe this is my purpose of me living this way, and I need to make the best out of it. And I really see that definitely like another girl who's of my age, there are many things that I'm not able to do because of my limitations. But there are things that I'm meant to do, and I'm humbly searching for that and following the things what I'm supposed to do. And in all these aspects, there are great challenges, and I believe in meeting it with full faith and all these years I have a great support that has somehow kept me protected, and I still have that faith of being more protected.
Right. Well, would you like to tell us more about your family and your close friends and about the support you've gotten from them and how it has helped you come so far?
Yeah, definitely. I'm basically from Kerala. My parents and my brother and extended, he's married, my in-law and their two children. So that's my small big family, and they all of them have played a great contribution. My parents, as a child, they have always stood with me on whatever way they are supposed to be with their best of knowledge, and it is similar with everyone in the family and the relatives, friends. All of them have played a great role in my journey. And for me, I believe I'm a person who learns things from every person I meet, from a child to an adult. So all of these contributions have helped me to learn new things and build myself in a good positive way of attitude.
That's lovely. I also read that you started interacting with people online through music. I mean, music was your healing power, and you've done a lot in the field of music too. I mean, converted it to audio notes. I'm not sure. Can you tell us more about that?
Definitely, yeah. So, this is how it started. Like, as I said earlier, I'm a person who done my studies at home, and after the school hours, I'm a very self-taught person. I started to take computer from my brother and take some time out of his use and read and learn things. So in that way, music is something that has been a true healer for me. I'm very passionate about listening to music, and it's a space where I kind of got connected with the things that I like about. So around 15, 20 years back, 15 years back, around 15 years back, I happened to join this Yahoo groups with a group of musical team, and from there I started to learn computer. It's through that particular group I started to learn computer, and my contribution on the lyrics part, what you kind of recognized is that I've been adding credits to musical songs of Malayalam films, and I started to be a volunteering, coordinating for a couple of those Yahoo groups, and those were the Orkut days. So I've occupied myself in a voluntary way, and this journey has helped me to learn more about computers and networking, friends, and things just grew up from that.
That's really sweet. Okay, I request the audience to put forth your questions if you have any. Okay, coming to society as a whole, what do you think should be done to make society more inclusive? Would you think more access and freedom, like you said, would that bring a change?
Definitely, see, inclusiveness. So now we say workspace has to be inclusive, educational space has to be inclusive. It is not just work and education. Inclusiveness starts from our home. Like we say, everything starts from home. So from this moment, it's about we raising our family and the people in an inclusive way. So I feel in our older generation. Inclusiveness is something that has always seen in the dictionary, and now we are in a phase of making it happen. That happens from the family to the society to on to the road, I would say. So inclusiveness means just that, and I know for me it's about any person taking in charge and making that big step and teaching their family or close friends group or what inclusiveness means, and having different kind of people in their life. So this would actually make would bring the power of oneness. So that's what I believe inclusiveness means. And it is not just in a workspace or education sector, it starts from the family, friends, society, and that's how it should work upon. And through this, I think there's a lot of changes we can get into each other. Like I'm sure that in a house or in a classroom or to a workspace, having at least one or two persons who are different by gender or something like that, or maybe as in terms of disability, every person they mutually learn a lot of, they give and share a lot of things in life, I would say, rather than just of an able person who goes just about certificates and things like that. It's more of being more inclusive and about adding different kind of individuals in terms of disability and gender difference.
Right. I mean, yeah, inclusion should definitely begin from when we're small and right from our houses.
Exactly, and I'm sure that these are the big changes. Like at least some of my friends, or maybe some of the family who has always kept me looped in their circle, would have a wider perspective of life because they kind of see me rolling around. At least they kind of know the value of life. But when we kind of look about a person who has always been in a very different other way, their way of thinking life is also different. And I see that even in our community, in my when I say from the disability community, when we are together, I see that even those people learn a lot of new things when they are with different kind of persons with different disabilities. So there is a great learning that happens from diverse people when we are circled with diverse people.
That's true, very true. Uh, how would you have you witnessed any progressive changes in society from when you were a child to compared to now?
I do see there is a lot of change. Am I audible?
Now you are just disappear for like.
I see there are great changes, but there is a lot more that has to happen, and because, like I said, I see some people who kind of see, like when we meet a person with visual impairment. For an example, we meet a person with visual impairment. There are people in our few years back, I see them giving them lot of support system. We kind of give lot of importance and make them in a space to help them walk, come closer, or direct them into many things. But now with the current technology and support system, most of my friends who are visually impaired lives a life of independence where they walk around, they watch movies, they hang around with people. So there are a lot of things that has happened. So this happened because we kind of empowered or gave stressed upon the importance of inclusiveness, and these are the spaces where things are changing, I would say. But there is a lot of change that has to happen, especially in our country. Things are changing, but I believe people with all these abilities, different abilities, are there in every space, and it is not just in cities like Bangalore, Chennai, and Mumbai. So, and we in India, there's a lot of other states and districts. So even so these are the spaces that at least through networking, I believe such changes would happen.
That's true. I mean, these everyone's found in every place. So, is there any outreach program or something that includes people from different sections of society that is not limited to cities and towns, like maybe villages or something like that?
Yes, yes, exactly. So that's what I said. So nowadays, most of our infrastructure or many other changes are mainly focused on city lives. It starts from Bangalore, Chennai, and Mumbai. And even I would say that the kind of facilities that for persons with disability what we have in Mumbai, maybe it's not there in Delhi. It's still yet to happen. So the more all these kind of major changes have happened in city life, but I believe that the companies which has a lot of branches in and around should kind of like, for example, I see that Big Bazaar Group, the future groups, give a lot of employment opportunities for persons with disability in Mumbai. So, if they kind of stretch upon having it to all the branches in a country, think about the employment change and independence that they're getting into the, and into our community. So these are the some of the things that I believe the greater changes should happen. In medically, there are a lot more changes that has to happen, but these are the small things that we can touch upon easily.
Yes, I hope we take small steps to bring big changes in
I
society.
think if at least two people from a village or any rural area take that step of bringing changes, at least to 5 persons in that village, it's a great blessing.
Exactly. Okay, I think we'll move on to the questions from our audience.
Okay.
Jamuna wants to know what has inspired you.
What has inspired me is truly nothing. And I really do not have any person as an inspiration. For me, as I said earlier in the session, that I kind of learn many things from each person I meet, like starts from a nephew to a very senior person. So these are the kind of learnings that I get from different people, and for me, motivation happens from within. So it's always a race that has been playing with Danya versus Danya.
That's lovely. I mean, you're driven by intrinsic motivation, and that's great. Meena says, Danya, you are the personification of positivity.
Oh my God, nothing like that.
But Geeta has asked us, how do you create that positivity? And when it's easy to feel so low, how do you remain positive all the time?
It's just the realization that there is no point being low. If I need to keep up with my life, I need to get up and raise. I need to, if I fall, I need to raise. And there is no point in me being there on that same level of surface. And, for me, as I said, the motivation always happened within. And this has kept me going. And it's not about reaching the stars or the moon. It's about me meeting my everyday.
That's lovely. You spoke about accepting yourself. Revati wants to know how long did you take for you to accept your own differences? And she says that she herself is struggling to accept so many things, and we often end up being harsh on ourselves.
Yeah.
There are a lot of things we're not in control of. So, how long did you take to accept yourself?
It's about a great focus and love you have for yourself that has helped me, I would say. Like Revati said, it is not something that has come from my birth. It is about my realization that I need to walk my life and I need to find a way of my own. At least from my teenage, I kind of started to work with myself. And as I said, from actually, when I look back, I would say my teenage days, I did not have much of an issue. Like, definitely, until my teenage, I had a lot of fractures, and after my teenage, the tendency of the fractures are reduced. And at least from that day onwards, I would say that these are the times that I started to work on myself because I started to feel a lot of there is a lot of stigmas and barriers that I had to break, and these kind of acceptance with myself, overcoming of my situation, meeting my challenges, it happens by me focusing on priority of what I need to first get upon. And I don't think it's easy to make everything satisfied or meet everything and then live a joyful life. No, I don't think that's possible. But being in love with oneself and being more vulnerable and finding a space of your own to say it's okay, Danya, this is the way you are. And so these kind of thoughts, especially affirmations, have helped me a lot in terms of dealing with situation. Like I forgot her name. Like she said, I've also been harsh to myself. It's like I said, it's not something that this journey of mine being accepted is not something that I have got it from my birth as a gift, never. But these are something that I was able to conquer it, and this happened with much of commitment in terms of understanding that my life is precious, and I believe that each and every life in this earth is really important, and it's not something to be escaped, like I've always been saying. Yeah, so it's something to be lived upon. It may not be the way we wanted it, but it's we can live the way we wanted it, and that's not something impossible.
Right, and you've told us that everything begins with ourselves, and no matter what society or anybody else says, anything else, it begins with you.
Right, Joe? I mean, at least to some extent, this is what I believe.
Yes. Great. Okay. Savina wants to know, can you tell us about one person who has made a difference in your life?
I think every person, not just one person, every person has either taught me in terms of reaching out to some of my goals, or maybe some other person have taught me a lesson on, as I say, my failures were the lessons where I started to focus more. So every person has taught me one on the other things, and I don't think that I can stress upon with one person. There is a learning that has happened with many people that I was involved with, and I'm still thankful in that way.
Would you like to tell us, is there any instance maybe you would like to tell us about, and anything that stuck with you?
In terms like
and any difference, I mean, anything that has made a difference in you, something that impacted you, something that affected you to a large extent?
yeah, I'm not able to recollect, and I'm not able to collectively speak. So what I said is, like I was an example. I would say that my teacher who taught me for 10 years, she came voluntarily to teach me, and every day 1 hour she spends her time in terms of making me read and write. So my all my fundamentals of education, the basic of education, that's from 1 to 10, my homeschooling happened in that way. So she has helped me to understand and about what it means to give knowledge to another person. And her whole goal was to make me educated of what she knows. Like, in terms of her knowledge and academic books, there are a lot on that we have learned from her. And from all these community level people, everyone has contributed something or the other in a very major way. I think Balaji, who's very much connected with Vinish, even he has helped me in terms of writing, in terms of being observed on my writing skills. So there is a contribution from every person I meet. And for me, learning is something that happens until that death, and I like to be a learner until then.
You learn something from everyone, and that's
Yeah.
amazing. Okay.
It's about winning and losing both. Either one person have taught me a bad experience, but still I don't like to say it bad because it has care. I believe it's again a reason, a purpose for me to be more better of my version.
And you've been a very positive person, and I mean, would you say that the positivities have stuck rather than the negative ones, or is it the other way around?
It's not any positive or negative. It's about me for being focused on my own thoughts, that what I believe is true.
Okay. Okay, moving on to the next question. Meena wants to know what advice would you like to give to parents who are having problems caring for their children who are also differentially able?
So my whole advice to the special parents is that parenting itself plays a great role in our society, no matter whether we have a special child or we have a little child. And but a person, special parents should be a little more responsible. So what I really feel is that at least till first thing is that they need to first understand the child might be disabled, the child is disabled, and it is all about that they need a little more support than an able person. And this doesn't mean that they do not have rights to be in terms of accessibility, be it the rights to any aspect of what we call rights to every individual. They too have the rights of being a life of independent, and all they need is a support system. So parents should firstly understand themselves. All they need is an extra support, and they are not different from another person. So this is something that we need to educate the parent, because parents will never be in before them. It's a very new thing, and they doesn't know how to deal or what to do and things like that. So there's at least few of us who are slightly socially involved or something. Maybe we can educate the parents that they are just different and all they need is a little support. But rest of it is the same thing. They too wanted to have an independent life just as an able person. So it's important that we nourish the child just the way how we help grow able person or able child. So it's just about that, and it's a support system that has to be given on a continuous way until their teenage, and after that I'm sure that that particular child will fly on their own wings if the parents are able to do such kind of adjustments, or maybe understanding life is just about those that they need and working on this. It's just a contract of 15 months of hard work, and after that this helps the child to live an independent life. And at foremost is that they too have the same and equal rights like anybody else, and we should not stop that. This kind of experience I kind of gained as from my, at least from my last 4 to 5 years of time, because I've been hearing a lot of stories from many special persons. Some of them don't have the freedom in their life. Some of them feel limitations or maybe depressed with all these aspects. That firstly they are dependent on the parents, and some are not able to move with their choices. There are a lot many things that is playing around in our society. So these kind of stories have helped me to realize that.
Thank you so much for answering that, Danya. Ullas Krish wants to know, has meditation and spirituality made a big impression in your life?
Meditation has helped me to be more focused. Spirituality is again, it's about from person to person. One believes spirituality is about praying to Jesus and Shiva, and maybe some believe spirituality is about stillness. So it's a play that is happening. Being it's for person to person. For me personally, meditation has helped me to be more focused and observed in a space. I found a lot of calmness in me. There's a lot of things, all my angry kind of things have calmed down, and I kind of feel more grounded. For me, spirituality is more, I believe, more with energies and lights, and yeah. I'm not an atheist, but I believe in God, and I more believe in lights and energy.
Correct. That's lovely. Ullas also wants to know if you could tell us about the influence of your mentor and your parents in your life.
Others, like I've been telling all this while, everyone have influenced me in some way or the other. But I really believe that one should not get deeply influenced by one particular person or the other. We have to create our own character and identity, and that's where when we kind of be more responsible to our life, our identity will be framed up automatically. So if we be responsible as a child for a parents, as a student to a teacher, as a friend, and all these kind of responsibility, if we do that, then our own identity and character will be framed gradually. Is what I believe. So for me, I would not like to say that my parents have influenced me, my teacher has influenced me, but or rather I would like to say that their support has helped me to become a better person. Like I know what, like I know when my mother have sacrificed whole of her life on mine, like she not having proper sleeps in the night, helping me when I was a child. So all those kind of realization helped me. The commitment of a mother and a child, and I know it's not about sacrifice; it's about the duty, and it's about raising people, and it's about seeing things the way they are. And so
Right.
these are the learnings that I would say, and probably I would say I'm more influenced with music.
That's lovely. Right now we're in the pandemic, and how has it affected you in any way? What would you like to say about that?
Uh, I think this has made all of us realize that we, as a person who believe that being more financially strong or being more powerful in our status would actually make everything. We have kind of conquered the world. So people who believe in that way, it's a humble realization that the nature has showed us that all these powers are nothing, and our life is a journey, and we are just the guest over here, and it's important we kind of not take things for granted, rather be more aware of the things what we have with starts from family to the things what we are blessed of. So this kind of helped all of us realize all these kind of things is what I would say. And these are the spaces that has also taught each individual upon what really love means, and what really love means of self also. Like some of them get a lot of frustrated, some of them really try to keep up the schedule in terms of not letting them go. off, like they believe that we have to keep with the same energy of our earth, and they kind of balance in that way. So it's a mixed journey, but I think the pandemic is definitely unfortunate, but it has taught many people about what life's value means and how we need to be treated to the things starts from our family to the people to the things of what we have.
Very well said, Danya. Would you say, has it affected your work in any way? I mean, you're also an event organizer, but you do a lot of work from home as well, right? So, has it affected your levels of
Yeah, what
productivity?
I would say, I don't think I need to say it as unfortunate kind of way. Rather, now this is what we are, and we are supposed to go with this. And that's what I kind of see it, and say as I like, it's definitely the outdoor work doesn't happen, or my dreams of making some places more accessible, meeting people and letting them know about such importance. All these are definitely not happening, but the situation I would like to not say as a bad times or something like that, because we one of the time and we need to evolve with it is what I kind of like to stress upon. And my work I do, as I said, I'm a freelancer, and it's all about ups and downs. So going on with it.
Okay, thank you. Well, this was a very insightful session. What would you like to leave our audience with? What message would you like to give us?
I would like to, I'm not a big advisor or anything of that sort, but my way of life experience is what I've been talking about here. And I really believe we cannot go back to the times and make a healthier days. Rather, the kind of times and the days what we have in our hand, let's make the best out of it. Be more responsible to ourselves and to the people around. And as I say, now we see because of the pandemic, we see a lot of people losing their lives, and this is something where I believe that this is not something to be run away. Let us face it, and good times are ahead if you make it happen. So, any life is what we make it as. I really believe that. I don't think there is any bad days. If you kind of have a strength within ourselves to really see days and be more blissful, and it's just about what we see it.
Okay, lovely. Thank you so much, Dani, for
Thank
being.
you so much, the entire team. Again, I thank all the 27 people who bared with me for the 1 hour of session. I think the 27 or 30 people have participants were there. Thank you so much. It's really nice.
Pardon?
I would like to express my gratitude to the entire participants for bearing me for 1 hour. And thank
No,
you.
no, honored to have you, Dani.
Thank you, Neha. At this young age, you are taking a great step apart from you're going out of your comfort zone, that is like your studies, and you're also trying to do something beautiful to society and to yourself. Thank you so much.
No, no, we have a conclusion by Vinish, but we also have a lot of compliments
Oh my
coming.
god. Come again.
Over to over to Vinish for the conclusion.
Okay, okay.
Thank you, Danya, for the wonderful insights that you shared. And usually, for all our sessions, I do spend a little time to note down the interesting points, and I have definitely captured a few things that you shared, and I thought I'd share it with everybody, including you. So, what I really liked and I heard from you is you aspire to have a rare disease-free India, and that's what you are looking forward for. And all your work today is focused towards that. That's a very powerful statement to make, and I mean that's a very powerful way of thinking on making sense of one's life. So that's very interesting. Then I noted that you said life is something to be lived and not escaped. That's a very profound statement. I see it to be even more powerful today because people are finding lots of challenges with the pandemic, the lockdown, and all those things. And this is something very powerful that we need to look at because uh, it has to be lived. I mean, there's no escape. Or, I mean, it doesn't mean that we can do it some other way. This is just the way it is, and we have to just accept it. Then you told at a personal level, I'm still the same person. I still have my struggles. When people say that I have made an impact, that is what makes me happy. I was very happy to listen to that statement. I'm still the same person. I think it is your humility to say that because the way you have impacted, I mean, the lots of people you have impacted today is, I mean, that's so very powerful. And you telling that you are still the same person, I mean, I think it's just your humility.
No, it's a fact. It's still the fact.
And yeah, and then you told writing is how I make myself independent. And you also quoted an example how you recharge your mobile and other things. Again, yeah, I am living a life that I am content with. Again, a very, very powerful statement. Then you told life is about living. Stigmas are meant to be broken. I mean, when I heard that statement, something, I mean, I have never heard a statement like this. Stigmas are meant to be broken. That's again so very powerful. Thank you for sharing that. And for me, motivation happens from within. And you told it is Danya versus Danya always.
Perfect. True.
It's again very very insightful. Then you told my teacher taught me for 10 years. She voluntarily taught me every day, and that's so very powerful. And I think now you are doing a lot of uh, help to people when you do all the things that you do, like the fashion show or like the invincibles. I mean, all those things, I think you are giving back the way, all the support that you have got. You told differently able children, they just need a little more help. They are not different from others. Again, I would see that to be something. I mean, this was something that I never thought of. I mean, to be frank, uh, I thought it was so very difficult for the special parents. But then the way you showed me, I mean, when you told that they just need a little more help, I mean, it completely changed my perspective. And another very important thing I heard from you is my parents and my mentors helped me become the person who I am today. Very powerful statement. And you told life is what we make it, and I think that's what you have done. I mean, I have heard, I mean, I have done lots of research on you, and I know the adversities that you have faced, especially till your teenage years. I did read that you have broken your bones at least 300 times when you were small. But then, I mean, how you have turned all those adversities into the person that you are today. And I think that is something that all of us need to learn because you are putting forth your message very strongly. And I think the impact that you are making today, it's something that is very, very, very powerful. And the most important point that I take back today is what you told, Danya versus Danya. And that is so very powerful. Thank you for sharing that. So it has been a great experience for all of us, including all our audience today. So thank you for your time. Thank you, Neha, for taking us through all those questions. Thank you, Balaji, for introducing Danya to us. Yes,
My pleasure.
thank you, Balaji. Uh, Thank you for connecting, Danya, and to my audience who join us back every week. Thank you for being with us today to hear our hero story today. And Yeah, so let's conclude this conversation today. We will meet next week. So once again, thank you, Danya. Thank you, Neha.
Thank you so much.